Welcome to My Point of View. I am your fat and opinionated host, and the Bud Light boycott is still raging on. In fact, it is going stronger now than ever. And Anheuser-Busch is trying to figure out a way. They are desperately trying to figure out a way to make it all stop. And now they are resorting to having their local distributors, basically, for lack of better words, guilt trip their customers into buying Bud Light. For those of you all who may not know, in your town, in your city, in your area that you live in, you probably have a local distributor that basically distributes and sells Bud Light or other products to local restaurants and bars and gas stations, you name it. Well, Bud Light, on a national level, it has not been able to reason with its customers to get them to continue buying Bud Light. So what they're resorting to is they're trying to put pressure on local distributors to basically put pressure on their customers to continue buying their products by guilt tripping them, talking about how people are going to be laid off, how people are going to lose their jobs. A lot of these people who work with distributors to distribute Bud Light or any other product for that matter, they work on commission. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am not trying to be insensitive here. I don't want people to lose their jobs. But the reality is people are going to lose their jobs. And realistically speaking, if you are paid commission, if you are working commission distributing Bud Light, then you should probably find another job. I don't think this is going to blow over tomorrow. It's not going to blow over next week or next month. If you are working on a commission basis, trying to sell Bud Light, go ahead and quit now and figure out a new path in life. That's not me being mean. This is not me being cold-hearted. This is me being as truthful with you all as possible. I understand your company is probably trying to convince you that all of this is going to go away. I know that maybe you are trying to convince yourself that all of this is going to disappear, but it's not. And I suggest that you find something else to do for a living. I want to go ahead and dive right into this article, but first, make sure you hit that like button. It goes a long way to helping my channel and to help boost this video into the algorithm. I don't ask for much. I just want you all to like the video and leave a comment. And if you want to go out of your way just a little bit more, share this video. Let's get these videos out there far and wide. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Salespeople promoting Bud Light for a Florida-based distributor have grown accustomed to car horns and jokes amid a weeks-long boycott. But they say they have struggled to ignore thousands of dollars in lost commission pay. A typical salesperson at the distributor made roughly $2,000 less in May than he or she would have made over each of the previous 2 years, suffering primarily from a decline in Bud Light sales that reached as much as 60% over the week ending on Memorial Day. This has really killed off a lot of the guys who are commission-based. That's who it's really hurting, one supervisor said. There's nothing they could have done. This was thrown in their faces. And that's true. I want to acknowledge that this isn't these people's faults. If you're someone who sells Bud Light or you're a Bud Light distributor, you don't have anything to do with how Anheuser-Busch chooses to promote their products. So while we're here and we're all against Anheuser-Busch and we're all for boycotting Bud Light, I want people to keep in mind that these people, these distributors, and these random Americans who are just working their jobs, they're not our enemies at all. So I want that, I want people to keep that in mind. But let's go further. Compensation for salespeople differs widely between different distributors, but a typical salesperson makes about $60,000 a year, including $20,000 in variable pay that depends largely on commission. Good people are going to start leaving because they're not making any money. The salespeople sustained overall sales declined in May between 6% and 26% compared to the same month a year prior, which translate into losses ranging from $200 to $900, the president added. At a meeting with salespeople earlier this month, the president told them, "None of this is your fault, and none of this is my fault. I'm frustrated that this has dragged on as long as it has. I'm hopeful that we are moving in the right direction." And you see those last comments? That's where these people start to lose me. You're frustrated that this has dragged on for so long. So basically, you're not acknowledging the problem that people have with Bud Light. You're frustrated that people have a problem with Bud Light. I understand, and it's true, that this has nothing to do with you, the distributor, and it has nothing to do with your employees. But at the same time, you're not being sensitive to the overall problem at hand. You're basically being dismissive of it. You're basically throwing away people's problems with Bud Light. You're throwing those problems to the side, and you're focused on the fact that you're losing money. Like I said, I don't want hard-working Americans losing money. I don't want hard-working Americans losing jobs. But if you think that a couple of people losing out on a few $100s is going to make me change my mind about this boycott, then you are sadly mistaken. I value the innocence of children way more than I value the couple of $1,000s that your employees have lost over the last couple of months, okay? It's not even close. In fact, if every single employee you have has to lose money or lose their jobs in order for us to create a better environment for kids in this country, then that is a sacrifice I am willing to make. I would willingly give away a few $100s every month out of my paychecks if it meant that we did not have to deal with all of the wild, crazy, downright evil stuff that we are dealing with in this country. If I could give away some of the money I make on YouTube in order to ensure that kids are no longer being indoctrinated on TikTok, in the classroom, everywhere they go, I would happily do so. So if you think for 1 second, you basically, trying to guilt trip us into buying Bud Light because some of your employees have lost out on a couple of $100s, if you think that that's going to be effective, then I'm telling you right now, you are mistaken. If people feel the way I feel, they're not even going to bat an eye at this. In fact, this makes me want to boycott Anheuser Busch even harder. You know what I mean? Because you're sitting here like, I'm frustrated that this keeps dragging on. You're not acknowledging the problem. You should acknowledge the problem at hand, and maybe, just maybe, you can convince some people into being sympathetic enough for you and your employees that they would still buy your product. But you're not going to convince people like me. But at the end of the day, when you just straight up dismiss everything, it makes me view you as part of the problem. And when I say you, I don't mean the random employees. I mean the bigwigs, the distributors who are really making the real money. You know what I mean? So I honestly can't find it in my heart to really feel bad. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I don't want anyone to lose their jobs. I understand it can be tough. But if your future is relying on commission-based sales of Bud Light, you need to figure out a different path in life. If you're a distributor and you're caught up in a contract to where you can only distribute Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch products, when that contract is over, you need to rethink your business plan, because it's obvious that these big corporations, they don't care about tanking you. They don't care about you losing money. They will put all of you all out of business in the name of this new agenda that they are pushing. So all in all, like I said, I mean, this doesn't waver me in the least bit. I am interested in hearing from you all. What do you all think about this? I understand that we're all, very passionate about boycotting Bud Light, but how do you feel about local distributors? How do you feel about, the random employees of these companies and how they're affected? What do you think of it? What can we do going forward to ensure that maybe some of these people can find new jobs and new careers once Bud Light is basically burned all the way to the ground? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.